arms towards the sun. You feel the warmth of the rays, and then you know you're alive, and you don't have to be afraid of anything, 'cause you know the truth, and the truth is love, yes it is. Wasn't what they said to you, or anything that you learn from a book or from the news. It's not like that, 'cause it's a thing. It is something that you do.
Welcome to the Bassline. My good friend Kevin Nathaniel is an mbira master, percussionist, a medical freedom warrior, and one of my closest collaborators as part of the African World Revolution Band, in which we explore the power of the 528 frequency. It is my delight this afternoon to be joined in studio by a great man and a great friend, Brother Kevin Nathaniel. How are you today, Kevin?
I'm doing very good, Jeremiah. Thank you so much. It's a real honor and pleasure to be back here.
Well, it's always great to talk with you and always great to play with you like we did this past Sunday. That was quite a treat. And there's so much to talk about as usual, so much going on as usual. And first of all, I want to remind everyone how you support this show. This is the Bassline Medical Freedom Radio Show. And one thing that you can do is you can go to my website, jeremiahhosea.com, jeremiahhosea.com, and you can buy the theme song of this show, Love's the Highest Truth, that we were just hearing a moment ago. But there's also a lot of original audio there involving great players. We don't just press play on a computer and say, hey, look, we made the music when the computer made the music. We get musicians to play. I write music, I arrange music, I produce it. So please support my music. And when you do so, you're supporting music with lots of players on it. So that's one thing. Of course, I'm also a chess teacher. I'm the founder of remotelearningchess.com. You can email me there or call me. My contact info is there, and let's schedule a chess lesson. I am a very experienced chess coach. I've been teaching chess for over 20 years. I've worked with students of all ages and experience levels. I actually taught two chess lessons on the way here today. I taught a 6-year-old girl and an adult man. I don't know how old he is, but he's old enough to maybe be someone's grandfather. And I taught in the park just before I came over here to the studio. And chess is a wonderful game, and I highly recommend you incorporate it into your life because it's actually a great investment in your health. By playing chess, you activate the neurotransmitters in your brain, and it helps stave off dementia and Alzheimer's and other degenerative diseases of the brain. It's a gymnasium for the mind. So please sign up for your chess lessons, and of course you get the Bassline discount or the Stop the Shots discount. And I'll teach you from scratch. If you know a little bit of chess, but you want to learn some theory and some style to how to play, I'll take you into that realm. If you have not learned even the rules, I will patiently show you the rules and how you play the game. And chess is for everyone. You don't have to be the next Bobby Fischer to enjoy a good game of chess. Also, and I'm very excited to announce, I have a new Substack article published late last night. I continued my streak of at least one article a month since I started on Substack. If you sign up for my Substack, I will not inundate you. I don't just scribble down a couple thoughts and call it an article. I take the time to edit the articles and work through them and really think things through. And my new article is called Clue, because it's like the murder mystery Clue. We still have a lot of unanswered questions. And as far as I'm concerned, this COVID event, to a large extent, remains an unsolved crime. There are fundamental questions that we don't have answers to. We have a lot of vocabulary. We have some great theories that are presented by brilliant people, but we can't definitively say what happened in a variety of cases where the answer is actually really important from a historical standpoint, from the standpoint of justice. from a medical standpoint. So please, everyone, go to Substack and check out my new article called Clue. Again, it's Jeremiah Hosea on Substack, JeremiahHosea. And I would really love if I could feel the Bassline audience, because I took the time to write this article. My mom helped me edit it. My mom, who's a school teacher of many, many years, now retired. And what's the point of having such a great community if I can't feel that community like the wind beneath my wings? So this is a fresh, off the press article, just produced, just published, and I would really love if you guys engage with the article. Please read it, like it, share it. Help me spread the word about what we're doing on this program, and that's directly connected with my Substack, and now that's directly connected with Stop the Shots, which is our nightly meeting on X. So there's a lot of ways to engage here, and I really hope that you do, because we need more people speaking up. We need people supporting. We need people filling in the gaps. There's a lot of things that people can do that you don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a celebrity of any kind. You just need to be yourself and think of, what can I do to contribute? What can I help to move the ball down the field? What can I do to just help with this ongoing mission, which is medical freedom? Because we have a very serious situation in this country where somehow you would have to present a exemption to decline an invasive medical procedure. That should never be the case. I shouldn't have to make an excuse or have some sort of special exemption to not receive a medical procedure. I thought I was a free person. And if that is a situation that you can mandate me to take an invasive medical procedure, well, then we have a serious problem in terms of our human freedom and our human dignity. So all that being said, we're about to jump into the conversation, and I just got word from our good brother at Rock Mill Fitness, Brother Milton Washington. We're locked in for September 28th. So everyone start spreading the word. We have another 528 jam scheduled. We're taking the month of August off. I'm going to be traveling. Brother Kevin Nathaniel is going to be traveling. But we have this wonderful event series that we're doing. And every time we do this event, people are just smiling from ear to ear. The level of joy that is generated in these jam sessions, it's really something special to be a part of. And we ask that you help us build up this scene, build up this community. We have a great venue. We have the right tuning of our instruments, which invokes and induces healing and inspiration. And we need the community to help us build this up. You know, a lot of folks think, oh, things are going to be there forever. They might not be there if you don't help support. So we've always had a good crowd at our 528 jams. It's always been a nice little crew of people, but we want to start packing the place. We want people to be there early and situated, because we need more get-togethers of people actually interacting face to face. We can't fall into this digital divide where we exist in the virtual world, but we're losing contact in the real world. So you got plenty of time to help us promote this, and you have plenty of time to make preliminary arrangements in terms of whatever you need to do for childcare or whatever to make it through to the 528 jam at Rock Mill Fitness. That's 274 Lenox Avenue, also known as Malcolm X Boulevard, 274 Lenox. And that is just south of 124th Street. Take the 2 or the 3 to 125th Street, and you're right there pretty much. You just barely walk down the block, and you're right there at the front door of Rock Mill. So since we just got this great news that the 28th is booked, tell us Brother Kevin Nathaniel, how have you experienced these 528 jams that we've started? I don't know how many months ago now. We just completed our 5th 528 jam session, and I'd love to hear your perspective on what we're doing at those events.
Yeah, thanks. The 528 has behind it the intention to heal and to uplift, and it has the sound. Now, my connection to 528 was kicked off by one day a couple months ago when I was tuning some strings, and I tuned one string, and it shot a light through my body, and I really felt the light shot through. And I was wondering, what is that I was feeling? And so I tuned the string again, I plugged the string, felt this light shoot through me. And I said, what is this? So I went and checked out all the frequencies, because I could hear the frequencies. You can hear them, from different things on the internet. Turns out that string I was tuning was 528 hertz. And so it was my way of going backwards into this experience of not being told that 528 hertz was something special, but actually experiencing that and then finding out that it was 528 hertz. And so, this 528 hertz, to me, it's not a myth. It's not a fancy idea. It's a very real thing. And I encourage you to check it out yourself. But in these 528 jams, I noticed myself, because I've listened back on some of the recordings, that you can hear the overtones and the resonances of that 528 hertz throughout the whole jam. I can listen to recordings and I can, because I have a 528 tuner and a 528 whistle at home. I encourage you to get those things too. But I have that, and I can play that along the recordings of the music from the jam, and it totally, you hear the whole color spectrum start coming out. So the color spectrum that catches that is tied to that 528 hertz is in the music at the jams. And so I encourage you, and because we're coming in with that intent, the music that we play has this really magical way of coming together and connecting, and the people there. There seems to be no separation between the people that are there to experience the jam and the musicians. We're all part of this one experience and getting totally lifted by it, totally. So I can't say enough good things about it. It's really a powerful thing. All of us at the end of the jam, after playing 3 or 4 hours, feel more energized than when we came in the room. And that's important right there too, because I have a lot of equipment. I'm taking it home, long trip, and I do not feel exhausted. I feel energized. I feel ready to play actually another set. So please, and we have something very interesting going on instrumental wise. We have a really great sense, a mix, a balance between the acoustical realm, the world of traditional African instruments, and modern realm. And these two worlds are coming together and dancing in this 528 zone. It's really something powerful to check out. So I encourage you, come on.
Yeah, it really is something magnificent. And I found myself honestly listening back to the recordings and being overjoyed at all the sound that we're making. And, there's that saying, to make a glorious noise unto the Lord. a joyful noise unto the Lord. And I feel like we've done that. That's just, that phrase kind of came to mind when I'm hearing all these sounds swirling around each other and hitting those resolution points. And I do think there's something objectively powerful about this 528 stuff, which, again, I have to thank Dr. Leonard Horowitz, who turned me on to this concept. I'm still in the process of reading his book, The Book of 528. I strongly encourage you check out my recent interview with Dr. Leonard Horowitz. That's on the Bassline archive. And invest in that book, The Book of 528. It really is absolutely fascinating. Go ahead, Kevin.
I have a friend who comes to the 528 Hertz Jam. She's from China. And she mentioned it, even though I've read this before, but she said, one of the earliest Chinese characters in the Chinese language is the character for music and for medicine. And she said the character for music and the character for medicine are very similar. She was telling me this. She said that actually they're a two-sided character where one side says basically is about herbs and the other side is about music, and it says herbs and music. And, this is medicine. And really it's a beautiful thing because music undeniably is a kind of medicine. And, it's very good to really consider, what kind of medicine are you checking out? What kind of medicine are you listening to? Is it really uplifting you? Is it really helping you improve your clarity? So I would say that a lot of music that we hear coming across our sound systems, our radios, and things like that, has some questionable elements to it in many ways, on many layers. And so a powerful thing is when you feel music, and I say feel because listening is kind of a way of feeling. So you feel music that actually does heal, that actually does uplift and make you feel more whole. And that is where we go back to that Chinese character. What is medicine?
Yeah, great point. I'm glad you raised that point. And speaking of medicine, we have this issue of these injections that were sold to the public as a form of medicine, but it seems to me that these injections are poisonous with no medical benefit whatsoever. Some people have made the point of saying that these are not vaccines, these are gene therapies, and I correct them and say, well, there's nothing therapeutic about it. So I don't really want to refer to it as a therapy because therapy is supposed to be beneficial in some manner. But I guess that's a legal distinction when we say gene therapy, because you have the internal documents of Moderna and some of these other companies where they indicate these are gene-based products. They do not refer to these products as vaccines in their own internal documents. They become a vaccine on the commercial side of things when they now are making these products, quote unquote, available by mandate to the public, right? So we're witnessing the fallout. It's extremely tragic. It's extremely sad. I mean, it's a tough thing to live through, honestly, because we're here. We're trying to survive. We're trying to succeed. We're trying to create our art. We're trying to raise our families. There's all these various things that we're trying to do that are totally positive in nature. And while we're doing these things, we're seeing people getting injured. We're seeing people dying suddenly. We're seeing the cancer cases that are so startling, where people are getting diagnosed with rare cancers, where people are getting diagnosed with extremely aggressive cancers to the extent that they're called turbo cancers, a term I had never heard before the so-called rollout of the injections. One of the leading causes of death, perhaps the leading cause of death associated with these shots that a lot of people are not aware of, is kidney failure. These shots are destroying people's kidneys even more than they're destroying people's hearts. And make no mistake about it, they are injuring people's hearts. But they've almost, as my previous guest John Bodwin has pointed out, they've almost made a limited hangout, if you will, about the heart injury, because they're trying to say, oh, well, there's just a little bit of heart injury. We're sorry about that, but it's just this little bit of heart injury over here, which, first of all, that's not very comforting, because any injury to your heart is not acceptable. But they're not even mentioning the renal failure, which is the leading cause of death associated with these shots, and they're not mentioning another leading cause of death, which is pulmonary embolism, basically blood clot in your lungs, hence the term the clot shot. So, I learned as an activist that you have to keep your ear to the ground. You have to know what the people are saying. And I definitely don't want to take any medical product that the people refer to as the clot shot, the Depop jab, the killer vaccine, the suicide shot. I don't think a good product would have any of those nicknames. So, Brother Kevin, we've talked about this as this whole nightmare has unfolded. We've stayed in touch. We've shared observations. We've had similar experiences. What are you seeing, just anecdotally, in your everyday life? What are you seeing in terms of the way people have been affected by these shots?
Wow. I've had some friends, one of several friends who, and I've heard in a couple stories, and it's compared to, and I was explaining this to someone the other day, is that I remember, back about 10, 12, 13 years ago, 14 years ago, being with people who were injured, they were going to pass away, they were family members. I would go and visit with them while they were literally on their walk home, But that walk home would last for months and months. And you could be with them and you could see that they were losing functions, and I could say it was true for so many people in my family and friends. And to be with them and to know that, okay, I could be with them and we could talk about this and we could look into the future and sort of plan, maybe what you want. Oh, did you finish your will? Maybe you're thinking this, maybe you should do this. Did you talk to so-and-so yet? But increasingly after the rollout, none of my friends who passed have had that time. They have always generally now been admitted to a hospital. Sometimes the doctors say we're going to be treating them. We don't know what's going to happen. It could be weeks, it could be months, but we're going to be treating them. We're going to make some progress. We're going to get them, and it could be some, a discovery of cancer. But what's happening repeatedly is you call the next day and they say they died last night, or they just died. And this is happening in so many instances that it seems to be that now the new norm. And all these instances, these friends, these family members have had the jab. They've had the jab. And so it's really been very heavy on all of us because we want to be able to make plans. We want to plan someone's funeral. We want to plan how someone will take care of their family. We want to plan how someone will write their will or make sure their will is completed properly. All those things we want to plan. Otherwise, Big Pharma gets the money on the walk, and the state gets the money when they pass out, when they pass away. And I remember, this is, maybe off topic, but I remember my father knowing that as he was sort of on his, as they say, his walk home, or you could say his wedding walk, knowing that he was on that walk, he said to me, Kev, he said, listen, I want you to do this, do that, because when I get ready to go, I don't want you to go talk to a lawyer. Now, he was a lawyer. He was a lawyer telling me, don't go talk to a lawyer, because the way the system is operated, the way the system is set up, if I pass, the lawyer is going to make all this money from it. And they're going to have the option of actually making more money than anybody else, collecting more money than anybody else in the family. So I said, I don't want this to be the case. So let's plan. So this is how heavy this is now, is that families are not having the ability to plan. And this is another huge strike against not only our human rights, our civil liberties, but our personal wealth, our personal collected legacy of wealth passed down from generation to generation. So anyway, yeah, that's the latest.
Yeah, I second that. It feels as though this is it's altered destiny itself, right? Like I feel that some of these folks, I see them dying suddenly. In fact, I noticed the term "died suddenly" was being used so often that they had to introduce "died unexpectedly," which means the same thing, but it just got so repetitive to say "died suddenly," "died suddenly." They needed to offer an alternative, "died unexpectedly," and yeah, it's just horrible. I mean, I have members of my own family who are struggling with serious health issues of one form or another. I know it's related to the shots, and it seems like everyone's sort of gone quiet. Whereas before they wanted to battle me and say, "Oh, you and that, conspiracy theory, blah 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 blah," and now it's just silence, just which I take as you were probably right, or you were definitely right, unfortunately. And now, and that's part of the tragedy of what they did, and part of the severity of what we experience is that, remember, they were forcing, coercing, whatever term you want to use. They bribed, they coerced. You could say in some cases they pretty well forced people to make an irreversible decision. That's part of the whole deal about this. It's not something you can take back. There's no take backs once this has been injected into your bloodstream and then gets delivered immediately through your blood to all of your vital organs. And of course, there's so many cases of thrombosis, right? There's thrombosis where these lipid nanoparticles are permeating the blood-brain barrier. They even have on the actual list of documented side effects, thrombosis of the penis. I'm sure you didn't bargain on that one, right? That wasn't included in the safe and effective description, that you could be getting thrombosis, including thrombosis of the penis.
I got an important point to bring to yes. We talked about this a couple months ago, but this have to keep reminding people. Medicine products, vaccines, when they manufacture these products, there are just products on the market. So, just as maybe some really hard tequila might be on the shelf of a store, and it might not be advisable for you to buy that tequila and be drinking that because you don't know what's going to happen. Vaccines are the same. They're just a product being marketed that has some safety issues. But once you mandate this product, so I oftentimes have to remind people, vaccines don't necessarily kill people, but mandates do. Mandates kill people. And I think the scientific community and the government body and the corporate body that colluded in driving forth mandates, I think in their heart of hearts, they know it. They know it. They know that mandates kill, which is why I think they enforce those mandates so hard. But I said this right away. Mandates equals genocide, because if you mandate that everyone take peanut butter or drink orange juice, you're going to have some people die from it, because there's some people that just can't tolerate it. Everybody has some sort of different thing that they might be really allergic or sensitive to. So you can't mandate chocolate. You can't go out and say everybody has to take chocolate and eat chocolate. But to push it that far, to throw the ball that far, to say you're going to mandate an experimental medicine that nobody knows what's in it, and it's got safety signals already abound, involved with it, then that's no doubt a genocide. That's no doubt a genocidal move to make. So yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of genocide, I recall my interview with Dr. Toby Rogers, very brilliant, outspoken medical freedom activist, and he estimated, I think a pretty solid estimate, that the death rate has increased by 15%, I think was his number. So that if under normal circumstances 1% of the population dies, basically. So 1.0 is your number out of 100, but now that number is 1.15. So you have a significant increase in death, but it's just enough for people to not notice, especially for people who are choosing not to notice. It's right below that line where you can sort of continue with this denial. But I'll just tell you guys, I don't know how they come up with these statistics sometimes. I'm not a statistician. I'm not a demographics expert or anything like that. But if the statistics aren't recording the death that's going on, then they're not doing the statistics right. Because I don't go by statistics. I don't go by a laboratory mentality. I go by what I see, first of all, because, right, we don't have time to turn everything into a laboratory experiment. You wake up, put your pants on one leg at a time, and then you go outside and pretty much go about your business, right? We don't have time to turn everything into scientific analysis, scientific research, and statistics. You just hear folks are dropping dead. Folks are keeling over. Folks are going to sleep and not waking up. And then we have to ask every time, did they take the Depop jab? Don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's too late for that, right? It's too late for that. You mandated people take this. You said we had to show proof of injection to enter a restaurant or a music venue. So don't tell me not to ask when someone dies an untimely death. I have to ask first and foremost, did they take the Depop jab? Now, maybe they didn't. Okay, good. So that's one person we could say they didn't take it. It wasn't from the jab that they died. But for a lot of other folks, they did take the jab and they did die suddenly. And then, of course, aside from dying suddenly, the range of injuries, as Dr. Ryan Cole has stated, the Swiss Army knife of injury and death is how he refers to these shots, because they can injure you in so many different ways. They seem to be working on the weakest link of the chain sort of principle that if you had a pre-existing condition, well, now it's worse than ever. Now something that you had beaten previously, even people who had beaten cancer, they relapse into their cancer, or their medical condition, which was manageable, becomes unbearable. And then all of those people are easily written off as, oh, they died of lupus. Oh, they died of diabetes. Oh, they died of this, that, and the other thing. When no, it was the killer vaccine that made their previously manageable condition something that killed them. And this applies even more for people, well, I shouldn't say more, but it applies every bit as much to anybody over the age of particularly 70. So someone could be 70 and you say, oh, that's so stupid that you're saying they died from the vaccine. They were old. No, they were going to live another 10, another 20 years. But anybody who's particularly, you could say maybe even over 60, but particularly over 70, 80, 90, they very well may have died from the killer vaccine, but simply because of their age, we don't even need to look into it. It's just written off as so-called dying of natural causes. So before I pass the mic back to my brother Kevin Nathaniel here, I just want to say we would love to hear from you. This, of course, is community radio. This is the Progressive Radio Network, and I love to hear from my astute listeners. So if you'd like to join us in this conversation, the number is 888-874-4888, 888-874-4888. Did you want to say something, brother?
Yeah. On that thread you're just talking about, I have a doctor who left the medical profession after the whole, I call the whole thing COVID, but after the whole COVID thing passed over, he left the medical, and I think he left the medical profession because the medical profession was so, I would say, exposed in an embarrassing way over the last few years, as doctors were being forced to treat patients only following a certain narrow protocol. But one of the things that my doctor said, and I have to give him a lot of credit. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if he wants me to say his name out here, but he is a hero. He is a hero because he came forward before the rollout, and he warned people. And one of the ways that I got canceled from a lot of events, a lot of organizations I worked with, was that I hosted a big Zoom based on my Zoom calls, the Zoom performances. Hosted a big Zoom with over 200 people from, different countries and everything on there, in which he was the featured speaker. And he let people know what was going on. This was before the rollout. And one of the quotes he says, I wouldn't give this to my family. I would not give this to my family. And the chat in that Zoom blasted it. There's people from all sorts of places started writing their concerns, their ideas, their thoughts, even from other countries. But I think that Zoom, because there were over 200 people listening, I think that after they talked to their families, I think his warning saved a couple thousand people. It really did. But I want to say that he said that if someone takes the jab, he can no longer diagnose them properly. Because what Jeremiah mentioned, that Swiss Army knife effect, there's too many other things going on now to be able to trace what's going on and to be able to diagnose somebody. There's too many other possible issues because of the problems with the jab. So I just wanted to give a shout out to this doctor. I would like to say his name, but like I said, for his own safety, I'll just say he's a very great, incredible, great human being, this doctor who.
Yeah, I know who you're referring to, and you remind me of another doctor whose name also I will not say. I had the pleasure of meeting him at the Medical Freedom event in June in West Palm Beach, hosted by my good friend, co-hosted by my good friend, and organized by my friend Cece Blakeman, the American granddaughter. That's like a sister affiliate podcast directly linked and in solidarity with the Bassline, the American Granddaughter podcast. Go check that out on Rumble. She's done a ton of great interviews. And this one particular doctor that I'm referring to, he also just would rather stay low key. He doesn't want the attention. And I sort of tease him that I'd love for him to go get some media appearances because I love to hear him speak. Very insightful, very detailed, great geopolitical framework to go along with all the medical knowledge. But you know what? I can't fault any particular doctor for not wanting to jump right into the inferno because, yeah, they've persecuted people, especially doctors and medical professionals who have a little bit more weight behind their warning than the average concerned citizen. And they've done quite a bit to undermine those folks that we refer to as the right docs of history, the people who, for a matter of historical fact and historical record, told people, don't take these injections. mRNA is dangerous. The lipid nanoparticle delivery system, dangerous. We could add to that plasmid DNA contamination. Who knows the long-term effects of those contaminants? And since my brother Kevin Nathaniel is here, of course, we both come from the music community, and we had a similar experience in terms of being ostracized by our brothers and sisters in music making. And that was so sad and so disappointing. And, because we thought our brothers and sisters were freedom lovers. We thought they love human dignity and everyone can be themselves. And if you don't feel comfortable with something, you shouldn't do it. And, the body is your temple and all these different concepts. It's amazing how many quote unquote holistic people and so many quote unquote artists that we thought respected human dignity. It turned out they didn't really respect human dignity that much because they were willing to ostracize and alienate and denigrate people or keep quiet, which is another crime in and of itself, because you're allowing other people to get injured. And I also, now that you say that, as far as keeping quiet, Brother Kevin, there are a lot of people I notice, I think they do carry a residual guilt in terms of people who knew the shots were wrong, and I think are realizing they should have spoken out about it, because now they do have the injuries to report within their own families. They are likely to have buried a good friend or two. And I think a lot of folks are thinking, you know what? It wasn't good enough when I said, oh, I don't want to take it. I should have told other people, this doesn't smell right. This doesn't sound right. We need to say no. We miss the Muhammad Ali moment, as I've said.
I think there's tons of people who, if they could do this all over again, would have spoken out and would have joined the resistance right away. And made it clear. It would have, because Jeremiah did it. I did it. I know a couple people did it too. He said, no, I'm going to shout from the mountaintop. This is wrong. And I want to let everybody know that it's wrong. So I'm going to shout it from the mountaintop. And however the cookies crumble after that, I'll deal with it. But I want to do what I can to alert my friends, alert my family. But Jeremiah also said this: we're musicians, and we're about healing. Musicians, we're about healing. We're about uplifting humanity. So that's one of the things that we started talking about earlier today. And so there are ways to really heal thyself, and because this is not all a gloom and doom discussion. Heal thyself. Heal thyself through music. And one of the paths is to really lock into the, healing frequencies, healing rhythms, healing music. Lock into that. Healing affirmations. 5 to 8 hertz with your healing affirmations. Lock into those ways, because some of the people, I have family members, I have nieces and nephews, they took the jab. I pray for them like stronger than anything, but I know they're going to be all right, because as my friend said, not everybody got the same chemistry. Not everybody got the same internal chemistry or chemistry of the jab. But whatever chemistry you got, music, the music of your life, the music of your mind, your heart, your soul, your body, this can heal you. And that's where you tap in. That's where you tap in, because as musicians, we're about that. We're about the healing of the world. So, use everything, we talked about, and then add your own, use that 5 to 8 hertz, use those things in music that uplift you. Use those powerful affirmations that create a sense of peace and longevity in your mind and heart. All right.
Yeah, thank you for that, Brother Kevin. And we have actually an outstanding caller, one of our esteemed callers, with either a comment or a question or both about the 528 frequency. Yes, Brother Noel. How you doing, Noel?
Yes, Jeremiah, I got a quick story before. I was in the Caribbean just recently, and I think you have a great voice. My brother thought I was you.
What a compliment to you. Just kidding.
No, a compliment to you.
Thank you.
Actually, what I wanted to know, I went to Jeremiah Azan and looked up the 528. Is that in the letter C?
Yeah, the note C. One? Yeah, the key of C.
Yeah, note C. I'm sorry, I said letter.
You have your letter and the key. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the other comment I just wanted to make about, since you guys are talking about this, it's funny that I'm slightly getting off the subject, but Mayor Eric Adams is mourning the death, and rightfully so, of the police officer who was killed, who happened to be Muslim. But how can you mourn him? But there's so many of us who've been out of work for 4 years. 4 years. I could have been living under a bridge, Jeremiah. And how come you don't mourn me and other people? I conclude with that.
Right.
Adams is fighting the people.
Thank you.
Adams is involved with fighting the people who get fired from their jobs. He's fighting them in court. They have been going after some sort of being rehired, back pay, all these things they've been asking for years. And Eric Adams and his administration have been fighting this in court for years, and no one seems to get a clear understanding why they're doing that. When he was asked about it before, he said that he blamed it on de Blasio, but it's totally in his hands. It's totally his choice.
Correct.
And he continues to fight those people who were fired from their jobs illegally. So,
right.
And I don't know if that's going to augur well for him in this upcoming election. I don't know if that.
No, you're absolutely right. But he got a fight on his hands. Well, number one, I strongly believe he will not be reelected. So hopefully Zoran Mondami will pick up the right ball.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much would vote for anybody except from Eric Adams at this point.
Now, I just want to mention Zoran got interviewed by one of the police captains, and who specifically asked Zoran if he would rehire those people fired from the mandates, and if he would give them back pay. And you know what he said? I'm sorry to tell you. He said no. He said no, I wouldn't do this. He said he would honor the mandate. He would honor the protocols of the health mandate or public health mandate, which, is kind of frightening, but that's what Zoran said. So I'm just telling you. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So Jeremiah, I'm going to write your name in and.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor. Okay,
get ready for the best mayor in the history of New York.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody who, thank you, brother. Always great to hear from you, Noel.
Yeah, same here.
And anybody who didn't stand up to the dehumanizing medical mandates, I cannot vote for you. I will not vote for you. You have ensured that I will never vote for you, actually. And as far as the Democratic Party that really was so committed to these mandates and these dehumanizing policies, they have ensured that I will never vote for them again. So congratulations to those guys. You've succeeded in making sure I never vote for you again, because to me, I take it as an assassination attempt.
Exactly.
We used to be friends, but we're not friends anymore. And I wasn't ever friends with the Democratic Party. But I mean, if you were my friend, for example, you could come over to my home. We could even argue. We could passionately argue. You're still my friend because we had a discussion. But when you pull out a weapon on me, the friendship is over. I don't want to break bread with you. I just want to avoid you. So after the assassination attempt, no, I'm not voting for any poison pushers ever again. And if you weren't on the right side of history when those events were happening, you have absolutely guaranteed that I will never, ever, ever vote for you, no matter what the circumstances are. So that's my opinion on the matter. And, I don't really want to really engage in lesser of two evils voting in general at this point. But if you stood up against the mandates, I might consider it. There's a good chance I could vote for you if you stood up against the mandates, because that's one feather I could actually put in your cap. We're already in the last 9 minutes of the show, or 8. We're running out of time here already. So I want to touch on another issue that we're both very passionate about quickly, because we can't get all into depth about it. It's quite a bit to talk about. But Brother Kevin Nathaniel has been very outspoken on behalf of the people of Palestine. I, too, support Palestinian solidarity and self-determination, and do not in any way support the heinous actions of Israel and their genocidal campaign. And it's, believe it or not, I think all these things are connected. But, I find it really amazing the people who they were all on board for the medical mandates, and then they turned around and they protest the genocidal actions against the people of Gaza, at which point I asked them, so wait a second, do you think that Biden was not a genocidalist when he was issuing medical mandates? Do Do you think Netanyahu, who boasted that Israel was an open-air laboratory for Pfizer, you think he was a good guy for the medical tyranny and then became a genocidalist through these additional actions, or is it all one and the same? Is it all the actions and ideas of madmen and genocidalists?
Well, people tend to think that these things like mandates or war or genocide are somehow or another disconnected issues. They're one issue. They're one the same. And, we tend to look at these things coming at us like a mandate. When that comes at us, we think sometimes we see a politician or a government official or somebody at an institution say, everybody has to take this jab. No, where that came from? That came from corporate capture. We have corporations now that are in bed with the government, and they are writing policy for what our government officials do. So when we see a mandate coming at us, oftentimes that is policy written by corporations who are basically stealing resources. And the resources they're stealing with a mandate is the resources of our human bodies. So now the current genocide present, well, actually, it's been a genocide for a while, but the intensified genocide in Palestine, same issue. Corporations that are in bed with the government. They're in bed with the United States government, who is sending billions of dollars over to that state over there, Israel, and they are sending them unchecked support and military support. U.S. military is going over there. They are over there firing some of those rockets off. And so what we have is a situation where corporations are involved, and we're being told by our paid-off newspapers that it's some skirmish between Palestinians and Israelis. Well, it appears to be that, but what it really is corporations that are involved in a land grab and that are using the people to make their land grab. And so we have the same situation, both whether it's a mandated medicine product or a genocidal land grab. These are corporations that are grabbing resources, and they're using the sort of current methods of grabbing resources, which is genocide right now. The current methods that corporations use to grab resources is genocide. And the mandate was a genocide. And this war, this constant bombardment of innocent Palestinian people is the same.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we have to stop all this killing. We need to stop this denigrating of the human species. We need to realize we are all one. We're much better off cooperating and collaborating. We don't need to harm each other. We don't need to bash each other over the head. And we're nearing the end of our program, so I want to make sure you guys remember the announcements, which is we have a 528 frequency jam coming up in September, taking August off for travel, family, business, and the last Sunday of September, so you have plenty of time to prepare. We're doing another 528 jam at Rock Mill Fitness. We ask that you join us, bring some friends, bring some family, and experience 528 for yourself. The proper tuning of music that corresponds with the color spectrum and the laws of the universe. And we need to move away from this Rockefeller tuning, which has people in discord and dis-ease. But also, please check out my latest Substack article. It's called Clue, because like the game of Clue, we still have an unsolved case on our hands in terms of who done it. Who are the orchestrators of this mass genocide? Who can puppeteer Putin, Biden, and Xi of China as though they were just little puppets on strings? Who's actually that powerful to do so? I'm not exactly sure. We have some research to do. We have some investigating to do. We all need to be detectives to figure out what's going on with this power struggle and the way it's being applied to the human family in terms of medical tyranny, military tyranny. And that's a new term that I've used recently and I'm going to continue to use. And I realized I was missing the point to a large extent because for many years I had protested the military-industrial complex and didn't realize it was the military medical industrial complex. And it's very much intertwined. But as we're closing out here, Brother Kevin, please tell us how people keep track of you. How do people support your work? Tell us where we can find you.
All right. Well, you can find me on the social media handles, Kevin Nathaniel on Facebook or Kevin Nathaniel Healing on Instagram. And then you can, of course, Google me and you'll find music. Music pops up. I have a lot of music out there. And then I keep kind of a regular outpost for healing music, mbira music out in Union Square. Jeremiah's out there too. So
yeah. Sometimes we jam out there in Union Square, so please check us out. I didn't realize that we were overtime. I'm looking at a clock that's slightly late, so that's what threw me off. So thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Bassline. Thank you, Brother Kevin Nathaniel. And, everyone stay strong. Have a beautiful weekend, and we'll see you on September 28th, hopefully sooner. And please check out my new article, Clue. I would love for you guys to see what I'm writing and see what I'm thinking. Peace and love. Have a beautiful weekend.